Hello, my name is Chad Hanrahan, and thank you for taking some time to listen to my presentation on my research project. The title of my research project is Mathematics Teachers' Insight on the Mathematics Learning Commons as a Community of Practice. Very quickly about me, I'm currently a French Immersion Mathematics 7 and 8 teacher at Dr. T.L. Sullivan School that's located within the Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board. I'm in the last class of the Educational Technology Diploma. And for my research project, I wanted to do something that discussed work that I do in my own classroom and tools that I use from an educational technology point. So my logical conclusion was with the MLC, or the Math Moodle page as we call it here in the Cape Breton Regional School Board, the Mathematics Learning Commons. So I use it every day in my daily lesson planning. And so for me, it's a very important tool. But I was just curious if that's a sentiment shared by other teachers, mathematics teachers should say, in the Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board. So after I did a little research, I realized there wasn't any data, yay or nay, on the MLC, so I decided that was going to be my choice for my research project. So at first I was going to analyze effectiveness, but with some guidance and suggestive feedback, I changed my question to the following: which features of a community of practice are supported by the Mathematics Learning Commons? So I did a lot of background research to prepare my literature review, and that diagram that you see right there basically outlines the different headings of my literature review and then how they all kind of tie together to, I guess, fit my project idea into it. So there's 5 key components, as you can see there: importance of teacher professional development, features of a community of practice, professional development via community of practice, effectiveness of an online community of practice, and the importance of evaluating an online community of practice. And then to the very far right, the relationship of my research question to all these fields of study. So I'm hoping that my project will, I guess, move the chains and add one more link in the chain of this discussion of community of practices in an online setting. So the next few slides just discuss what I found when I did my literature review, and they're outlined in one statement. Again, that's not really giving justice to the literature, but I just felt it was necessary to give as simplistic an approach to this as I could. So basically the first heading, importance of teacher professional development, I got most of that from Borko, 2009, and that discussed the importance of professional development for teachers to augment their pedagogical practices. So the more PD, the better teaching practices the teacher should have. Now, when I just started talking or looking into community of practice, I want to know what they were more specifically, and Lab 1991 describes it as a principle of learning as social participation when people have a common interest, collaborate over an extended period of time to share their ideas. Now, for my project, instead of evaluating effectiveness, I wanted to see what elements were properly supported in the MLC, and I realized that there was 6 fundamental characteristics of a community of practice, and I got that from Laib and Wagner, 1998, and they are community, practice, domain, motivation, structure, and mandate. So when professional development is involved with a community of practice, Kodo and Dirktink, Homfeld 2008, and Smith 2009 state that professional development could be achieved by teacher participation within an online community of practice. So when the community of practice is moved to an online setting, professional development could be much more easily achieved and much more effectively achieved. And that's how it ties into PIML-NL's 2013 research that's saying the technology's role within a community of practice increases in effectiveness by allowing for specific customization that helps to meet the specific needs of its community members. So when you put a community of practice into an online setting, each member can get from the community of practice what he or she needs. And that's a really cool feature of having it in a technological format. So the importance of evaluating the online community of practice, that I got that research from the World Bank Group, 2014 literature. And that's not rocket science. Essentially, if you evaluate the tool to make sure it's meeting the needs of its members, it's going to be a better tool. again, you wouldn't use a tool that's not effective. So by regularly evaluating the community of practice in the online setting, you're determining regularly if the community meets needs of its members. So, participants for this research project. That, I have to admit, was one of the parts that made me a little bit sad. I didn't have as many as I was hoping to. There's about 300 teachers in the Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board teaching mathematics. I unfortunately got 33. Now, 32 chose to participate and 1 chose not to participate. And the pie chart to the right summarizes their current teaching assignments. So there's 4 basic teaching assignments: elementary mathematics teaching, middle school mathematics teaching, high school mathematics teaching, and mathematics resource. So the resource could be a resource teacher directly in the school, or a mathematics mentor and or interventionist. So my project's methodology, it was a mixed methods approach. According to Creswell 2012, that is a combination of both qualitative and quantitative approaches. Now, the quantitative part of my research study was the case study, and that was the mathematics teachers of my board, Cape Breton Victoria Regional School Board. The quantitative part was my data collection instrument, a Google form questionnaire, and how that was disseminated to the teachers in the board. I contacted the math coordinator, and she and myself contacted the principals of each school in the board. And through an email, we sent an email explaining my project to the principals, who then sent a secondary email to each teacher, which contained the link to the Google form. So the Google form had an opening introduction which discussed my project, a question that clarified participants' declaration of consent, and then the survey questions that were used to prepare my data for this project. Now, the majority of the data was focused around my 6 features of a community of practice: domain, community, practice, motivation, structure, and mandate. Now, very quickly, I would like to show you what my form looked like. So, very quickly, there is the project introduction, there's the declaration of consent, and the rest are basically questions that was, I guess, the focal point of my data: familiarity, teaching assignment, usage, assessment throughout the week, and then each feature. And this is the data that was generated. As you can see, I have the person that did not participate. All this was done anonymously, and emails weren't collected. And I used the data here to prepare all those wonderful diagrams below, which I don't have time to show you all, but feel free to contact me at any time, and I can send you a copy of my project when it's done in its entirety. And I did forget, this is what the Mathematics Learning Commons looks like online. So it starts out as a professional community of practice, and then you can click the link here. So for myself, since I'm 7 in middle school, I'm in the 7 to 9 bracket, so if I click there, it looks kind of like that. And those are all the different headings that you can get into. And this is where you find specific information for what you want to do in your math class. So back to my project here. So, my data analysis. To answer my research question, a supported feature, one of those 6, had to have a favorable result or a favorable response for its summary question. Now, a favorable response I determined to be a combined percentage score of 50% or higher in either the categories agree or strongly agree. So if a person selected agree or strongly agree, I added up those percentages to get a combined percentage score, and if it was over 50, that was a favorable response. And contrarily, if a person selected disagree, strongly disagree, or neither agree nor disagree, that was all combined together for a combined percentage. And if that was over 50, or sorry, my apologies, 50% or higher, that was considered unfavorable. So, these are my questions for each, my apologies. This is the summary questions for each feature. I don't need to read them. They're very, very straightforward. So there were other questions in each block, but this was the key one I was looking at to determine whether the MLC was supporting each feature as a community of practice. So here's what I gathered from my results. So those are the 6 features. So now, I broke it up into 3 categories: the feature, the combined percentage of participants who agree or strongly disagree, and then the combined percentage of participants who disagree, strongly disagree, and or neither agree nor disagree. Now, there was 4 of them that have stars by them on the far right. Those are the categories that had a much higher percentage in the neither agree nor disagree. And I'll discuss that in a moment when I get to my final thoughts and conclusions. But as you can see, the data was very, very straightforward. I felt the percentages helped me understand very distinctly what is being supported and what is not being supported. And I hope that's the same for you looking at home. Conclusions, final thoughts. So according to the data collected by the Google Forum, there were 5 features of community practice supported by the MLC. They were domain, practice, motivation, structure, and mandate. Each of those features had a strong favorable response for its summary question. Now, unfortunately, there was one feature of community practice that was not supported by the Mathematics Learning Commons, and that was community. I'll just go back one. Community was around 15%, which I found very, very interesting. So, according to the data, the MLC needs to improve considerably in its community feature. And I believe that would be a very key element of all community practices. Now, the part that was a little bit more troubling, or maybe not troubling, but the part that is not the best was my number of participants. Like 33 participants is not a statistically significant amount of participants to make genuine conclusions about the MLC's capacity as an effective community of practice. So much more participation from various school boards around the province will be required to make more valid and reliable conclusions about this educational technology tool. And as I was stating in my data analysis part, there was a large percentage of neither agree nor disagree as a response to questions, and that could possibly signify that mathematics teachers may not understand what a community of practice represents. And perhaps with a little bit more information and explanation, in the future, if this survey was done again, perhaps the answers would be more in the disagree or agree categories instead of neither agree nor disagree. So I'm looking at the time, it's about 12 minutes into this. Final thoughts. I learned a lot about myself doing this project. I realized that research is very challenging. It takes a lot of work. This is one of the more difficult things I've ever done as far as professional development, but I feel good about how I did. I worked very hard at this project. I realize I don't think research is in my future, but I did learn a lot, and I definitely appreciate people who do research for a living. This is not an easy job. And on that note, I don't want to drag it on too much more, because you also have things you do, and you also have to probably watch some more of their presentations. So on that note, thank you for listening, and I hope you all do very well in your own project work, and all the best in the future. Bye for now.